Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden. I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today we're going to make double pockets. But first let's have our shout out to Lenny, Roxanne, Megs, Theola, Lola Gamma, Diana, Barbara, Judy, Carolyn, and Heidi. I appreciate each and every one of you. I have two pieces of printed cardstock. Woo, I had a hard time getting that one out. Printed cardstock, and I went ahead and I coffee dyed the back of mine. Now my example that I'm going to show you at the end, instead of coffee dyeing the back, I covered it with a book page and I actually sewed around it. So my example will show you if you want to line it with a book page and if you want to sew it. So it will show you those two things. So you'll want two pieces of cardstock that is printable, two different prints, okay? And you want to cut them 5 inches by 6 inches. Then we're going to take them and we're going to fold it over 2 inches, just like this. I'm going 2 inches. Now, if you have a print that is a right side and a wrong side, or up and a down, that's what I need to say. This is obviously upside down. And the longer spot is the one that's going to come over like this. So you want the longer spot to be right side up. And we're going to fold this over 2 inches as well. So both of them are the exact same size and we folded exactly the same, 2 inches. I have chosen to use this one as my base, and I'm going to use this right here as my first tuck spot. So I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm just going to say this is about the center. I have my 1-inch hole punch and I'm just going to barely place it in, and I'm going to punch me out a little notch right there. So now we look like this, and I have gone ahead and I've inked around the edge, but I want to take this. I was going to say I was going to round the corners, but not yet. I don't want to round the corners yet. So this is my longer piece, and the longer, this is the shorter, this is the longer, because this is where it's folded. I want this to be right side up because this is my flap that's going to cover my little pocket here. Now, I should have probably not folded it 2 inches. That's a mistake that I made. So let's fold it 1.5 inches because we want a little bit of that plaid to show. So instead of folding, you're definitely going to fold your base 2 inches. But the other one, you want to fold it 1.5 inches. So to fix this for myself, I'm going to bring in my guillotine, and I'm just going to chop about 1/2 inch off. See if that's going to be enough. That's not even quite 1/2 inch. I shorted myself a little bit, but that's okay. It's almost 1/2 inch. That'll be fine. That looks beautiful. Now I do want to round the corners on my flap here and here. So I'm going to get my corner rounder. I'm just going to round those corners very quickly here. And I'm going to ink that up because it's not inked. And since I cut that, I'm going to go ahead and fix that right there. Now, the next thing I want to do is put it back together like this. This is the one that I'm not going to sew. So you will be able to make one if you don't have a sewing machine. So we're going to take and we're going to just glue these two sides right here because we're making this into a pocket. So I'm going to just put my ink right down here. My ink. This is not ink. This is glue. It's my Tombow glue. I'm going to put it right down there like that. And I always like to put a couple of paper clips on here just to help hold it as I'm doing something else. Alrighty, so let me do that. Now, if you want, you can always decorate this part right here. You could maybe put a little washi. You could bring in a stamp, and you can stamp something right here. You could do some word stamps. Maybe that's what we should do. Do a little something here. I think maybe, you know, I'm not going to do anything there. I'm just going to leave it plain for now. We might decorate it a little bit later. All right, the next thing we want to do is put this one together. So the shorter, the 1.5 inch fold, not the 2 inch fold. We're going to put it right there. Now we're not gluing the whole thing down. We're just going to glue the base right here, the bottom of the 1.5 inch fold. We're going to add some glue to that. So let me go ahead and get my Tombow glue. Let me put a line of glue right down here. And then let's pick this up, and because this is our pocket, I'm going to take, this is my glue, this is my fold, this is the front, right side up, and I'm just going to lay it right in the fold. The top of this piece is going to lay right into the fold of this piece, just like that. All right, so now our back is going to be two-toned like this, which is really quite pretty. Now you could attach these to a page with a little piece of, 1 inch paper or fabric, and crease it in the middle, and you could make a flip out of it. You could place it in a belly band. You could place it in a pocket. You could glue the whole thing onto a page in your journal, or you could use it as a gift card. So I'm going to just open this up. I'm still gonna put my paper clip here. I just didn't want to grab this part. All right, so you could, where was it? So you could take your gift card, and it will fit very nicely in here, just like that. Or if you don't want to do that, you could do a nice size journaling page, just like this. So the papers that I used here came out of that paper pad, and I'll show it to you in just a second. And this is a digitalcollage.com. That's where I got that out of. Let me grab that paper pad. So this year we've been working with this paper pad right here, Winterberry. And as you can see, I'm using the green plaid, and I'm using the red birds right here. So that's where I've got my paper from. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead, and we need to glue the sides down. So I'm going to remove my paper clips, and I'm just going to get my Tombow glue, because I probably should have been paying attention, and I should have glued the sides when I glued the bottom, but I wasn't paying any attention to that. I was thinking about something else. So anyway, it's easy enough to fix. We're just going to glue the sides. You're not gluing the top. Leave that as a second tuck spot. So I'm just going to put my paper clips back here to hold that. Now let's think about a closure that we're going to need for this. So I have taken my 1 inch hole punch, and I have punched out some circles, and I chose to use the same pattern as my base. So I made one, and I doubled it with some cardstock, and actually that piece of cardstock had some words on the back. That won't matter because we won't see that. And so it's thicker. It's much thicker and firmer. I inked around the edge. And I did the same thing about inking around the edge, but this is just single. It actually has a little bit of book page on the back, but it's not real thick. It's just cardstock. So what I want to do next is I have a little brad here. I'll put these in here. We don't need these right now. We are going to be needing them in a minute. And I'm going to open my card up, and I'm going to just kind of line it up, and I'm going to see, I want to put my thicker circle right here about, I think right there. And I have somewhere, where did I do it then? Oh, sure. Where did that go? Oh, here it is. All right. I have a little piece of foam that I got out of packing, and I'm going to slip it underneath. I'm going to line this right back up. I'm going to get my pokey tool, and I'm going to place it right in the middle of my circle and in the middle of my little flap right here. I'm going to put a hole in it, and I'm going to grab my little brad. I'm going to place it through the hole all the way through. Oh, for heaven's sakes. All the way through. Well, that was pretty tight. I didn't expect it to be that tight. And then I'm going to open it up just like this. And you know I don't like to leave that look. If that doesn't bother you, then you don't need this extra piece. But I always like to finish it off. And then I like to take my paper clips so that it holds it in place while it grabs a hold. The glue grabs a hold. Okay, so now we look like this. I'm pretty sure we can take these off now. Oh my goodness, that's looking super cute. Now, like I've said, you can decorate the front, or you could just use book page. Here is the little journaling card that can go in there, which just further decorates it. And then I have a piece of coffee dyed paper that actually has an image of a doily on it, on both sides. And I think I'm going to just round the corners. I hope they round nicely. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to slip this right in here, just like this. And I'm thinking this is a little bit long, so I'm going to need to trim this to about right there. So let's bring in our guillotine, and let's trim this. I have to once again trim our little corners, round them, and then I'm going to slip it right in here. And remove these. So you can maybe stamp something on here, or maybe you want to, like I said, put some washi, or maybe you want to put a little piece of ephemera right here. I actually have some little words. This says holly, cheer, 'tis the season. How about if we put 'tis the season right here? And I'm just going to quickly ink this up just so it has a little something, and it's not quite so plain. But like I said, you can add all kinds of little things that you want. A bow, some fussy cuts, whatever your fancy is. I'm just going to keep it simple today. Just place that right there. Now, let's go ahead and of course, we're going to fold that. That paper's not been folded yet. So it's folded now, and I'll slip right out to journal on. That's a nice journaling piece there. I have my baker's twine, and it's actually a brown color, and I'm just going to slip it. Actually, I think I need a red one maybe. Just a minute. I have two colors of red. I have this bright red, and I have this burgundy red. Oh, the bright red looks very nice. So let's go ahead and take this off of here. And let's switch to this beautiful red color. And I'm just going to slip it right underneath, and I'm going to tie a knot right here. And I'm tying the knot in the direction in which I'm going to be pulling my baker's twine. So I'm going to be pulling it around starting from the bottom. So I'm going to tie my knot at the bottom of my circle. And then I'm going to tie another knot here because I don't want my baker's twine to unwind, and I'm just going to snip it off. Now I'm just going to wrap it around. That's why I put my knot right there. I'm going to wrap it around like that and give it another snip, and I'm going to just tie a knot right here just like that. Oh my goodness, I think that is beautiful, and oh so festive. And if you want, you can always use this as a gift card. This happens to be an Amazon gift card. You just place it right in there. Now, speaking of things, I've restocked my Etsy shop. I have some smaller bundles of the ephemera, and I have some accordion envelopes over there if you're interested. The link's down below. This is the one that I've sewn. So let's unwind it. And as I told you, I lined it with paper, book paper. There's my circle, my baker's twine. There's my paper that's in there. And then there's my little journaling card, and it just says December 24th. This is how I decorated it. I kept it very simple. And that is all there is to it. You guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.